All right, we're recording again. Yeah, he doesn't want the hearers to hear this message, but the devil is a liar. Amen. The power of having an understanding. You ever heard somebody use the phrase, I just don't understand you. We've heard that in our lives several times or more. We've heard someone say at some point, I don't understand you. Or make me understand what you're talking about. If you don't know what a person is talking about, we don't understand what they're talking about, you just standing there looking at them and you're going, I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, you seen that? I'm going to preach this. I'm going to preach it. Now, I don't know if you all seen that movie, ATL, and the young guy was talking to the guy. The young guy was talking to the guy, and he said, the guy was saying stuff like, he was going to handle that. And I'm telling you, man, that was some good. And he was just talking. He said, man, listen, I don't understand nothing you saying. Let's just get this business over with. When you don't understand someone, there's a breakdown. Am I making sense? There's a breakdown when there's no understanding. There's something missing when there is no understanding. So I want to start by, first of all, again, Scripture is telling us, it says wisdom is the principal thing. That means wisdom is the first thing. But then it goes on to say, but in all thy getting, what? Get an understanding. Get understanding. Because there's power in understanding. I'm going to share it. I'm going to bring it out in a minute. Okay? Now, clarity is vital in successfully, quiet now. Clarity is vital in successfully moving forward in life. If you don't have no clarity of where you're going, you can end up anywhere. Am I right, somebody? Clarity is vital in successfully moving forward in life. It brings peace into our lives, and it releases the power of control in situations where chaos can be manifested if not properly handled. If you don't know what you're doing, you can mess something up. You ever hear somebody say, it's better to leave something alone than to touch it and mess it up more? And it's just like me, and I always use Calvin. When I come to Elim, I just got to reference Calvin, because Calvin knows how to fix cars. If I go in and start trying to fix stuff in a car that I have no understanding of, guess what I do?
Mess it up.
I mess it up. I mess it up. I mess it up even more. And then Calvin talk about you, say, why did you touch that? See, I know you've been messing with this, because I know it. I just know it, because I know what this means right here. It's good to know what it means. But clarity is a byproduct of understanding. And it is essential to have an understanding in things that pertain to life, whether it be education, business, health and welfare, and mainly spirituality. One of the reasons why the educational system is suffering and in the condition that it is in is because the student, watch this, the student doesn't understand the importance of being educated. We can blame it on administration, and there are times when I believe that administration makes some bad decisions. But when I go to school, if I'm going to school to learn, then I need to understand that when I'm going there to be empowered. So I do need you to be on point, but I understand that it's going to make me better. Okay, I then went forward. So kids think that school is boring. Anybody thought school was boring when you went? Yeah. They think school is pointless. Yeah. And they conclude oftentimes that it's just one big fellowship or social club. I'm going there to see my friends. I'm going there to hang out with my boys. I'm going there to see my girlfriend. And show off my clothes. And the only reason I'm going to school is because my mama told me I gotta go. All right? But the bottom line, oh yeah, and my kicks. Show off my kicks too. But the bottom line is there's a breakdown in understanding why you're even going to school. So look, but the most important part is missing. The most important part, and the most important part that is missing is their thinking is that education is not understanding that the education is developing their intellect. It develops our intellect. It develops our awareness. It teaches us how to maneuver in life through business. Knowledge empowers. Anybody remember hearing that? Knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. Knowledge empowers. If I know something, then you have nothing on me. One thing about the Black Panther Party in the 1960s and early 70s, was it the 70s? Yeah, I believe late 60s, 70s. One thing the Black Panther Party understood was if they got educated, then you could not pull the sheets over their head. You could not, you cannot conquer me when I'm educated. And guess what? And the people of the powers that be understood that these guys had picked up books instead of guns. Come on, somebody. See, people don't understand what was happening with the Black Panther Party, but they picked up books instead of guns, and they understood their constitutional rights, which gave them the right to bear arms. So when they picked up their arms, they understood that they had a right to bear arms. Why? Because it was written in the Constitution. But if I don't read the Constitution and I don't understand it, then I'm living in error. I'm moving in error. When the police come to you a lot of times and you're bearing arms and they ask you, say, sir, why do you have that arms? Because I have a right to. That's right. But if you don't understand that you have the right to, they can do anything they want to do to you. Why? Because you don't understand your rights. There you go, sir. Come on, somebody. Hello. So they understood what they were doing. Now, so wisdom is the principal thing. So that means wisdom is the first order of business. And then it says, in all thy getting, do what? Get understanding. All right. Because understanding is the support base for wisdom. When I understand something, I wisely handle it. Wisdom causes me to make good choices. Wisdom causes me to make good choices. Why? Because when I get understanding, understanding illuminates my path. It turns on the light, just like going into a dark room. Amen. Wisdom says, turn on the light, because understanding told me that walking in the dark will cause problems. Yeah. Like running into things, or falling over things, or even being overtaken. Didn't wisdom tell you not to walk up that dark alley? Yes, it did. You didn't always need understanding, but if you took your hard-headed self in there, you finally got an understanding. Come on, somebody. You got an understanding when somebody knocks you upside your head because you did not believe what wisdom was telling you in the first place. Come on, somebody. It's called common sense. Hello, sir. Hello. Now, watch this. So now when I gain understanding, I receive power. Knowledge is the information that leads to wisdom. Wisdom tells me don't break the law. So I follow wisdom and I don't break the law. Come on, somebody. Now, wisdom is the main thing because it is the first order of business again. But then understanding comes and it says, I am going to empower you to see why wisdom is necessary. I'm going to show you, understanding says, I'm going to show you why you are doing the things that you need to do. What does wisdom say? Wisdom say, if you want to lose weight, stop eating so much. Wisdom says, what else does wisdom? Wisdom says exercise. Right. But now, understanding comes along and it brings clarity to wisdom. Understanding says, this is going to make you healthier. I understand that when I'm not because I want to lose weight or not because I want to just look good, but understanding tells me that if I carry this weight, it's going to bring on other sicknesses. It's going to bring on diseases. Come on, somebody. So that's what understanding does. It brings clarity. So it comes to empower. And it causes me to see why wisdom is necessary and welcomed in my life. Understanding. So now let's look at God in this view. Because we always got to tie this in. We are in church. Hello, somebody. The Bible relays his word to us for being successful. Here's why, Sister Hall. Let me put a pin there. Let me put a pin there right there because I need to deal with this for a minute. Here's why. Watch this. Here is why we can't get people in the church. I'm going to tell you why. Because they understand church to be somebody standing up and collecting their money.
Right. They always beg.
That's all they understand. I come in there and they just begging me for all my money. And you know folk love their money. But let me give you something here. See, the focus in Jesus' day, the focus wasn't money. Because Jesus told the disciples when Mary brought the expensive box, the alabaster box of expensive ointment, and they said we could sell this and get so much money for it. Jesus told them, you're not interested in that. He said, that's not what this is all about. He said, but this woman has come to me with something more expensive. In other words, her life was more of value than what she had in that alabaster box. Because she was forgiven for much. So his focus wasn't about money. But in today, all people think about church is they just want an offering. I blame us. I do blame us because that has been the case. But let me give you some understanding now. See, because wisdom says if I don't get in God, I'm going to hell. But let me give you some understanding of why you really need to know God. Because when I understand how God feels about me, when I understand what God is doing for me, where God is taking me. And I know I'm using the word me a lot, but see, that's our focus. So I'm going to keep it there for the sake of the audience outside of here. But we understand that for us to live is Christ and to die is gain. So we understand that it's Christ that lives in us, all right? And God is living in us, performing his will, all right? We understand that. My life is hid in Christ. I understand that now that I am a saint of God. All right, but let me give you the understanding. And let me tell you why you should not just come to church, but why you should have a relationship with God. God's main concern and what God did for us was he placed us, first of all, he placed us in a position of authority. Check this out, y'all. Now think about something. You wonder why you work for somebody and sometimes you hate your job. But you wonder why, and then you got to get up every morning to go to work and you get up going, man, I should call off. It's because we didn't understand along the way that God had placed us in positions of authority, but we couldn't handle authority. We mishandled authority. Come on, somebody. All right, preacher, what are you talking about? I'm talking about God is more than us just coming into this church. He's more than us just coming in and singing songs of him. This is where we come to worship him. We come together as a collective unit. We come together and we worship together. You know, we come together because birds of a feather flock together. Come on, somebody. Hello. But outside of this, we must understand that our relationship with God is not trying. He is moving us once we understand that he's moving us into a prosperous living arrangement. Come on, somebody. A prosperous lifestyle. God says, I would above all things that you would prosper in what? And be in good health. God says, my thoughts of you are thoughts of peace and not of evil, to bring to you what? A great future. God says, I'm not telling you to be poor. I'm not telling you to be destitute. I'm not telling you to be in despair. God says, I'm getting you to understand who you are. Come on, somebody. And when you understand who you are and why you're here, then you will understand more of your purpose and who you are in God. So the churches is not filling up is because people don't understand that my relationship with God is what's the main part of this. It's not the offering. When I understand who I am in God and when I understand who God is to me and what God has done for me and where he has brought me from and the fact that I came from him and that all he wants me to do is reconnect with him and to understand somewhat of him, because you will never understand all there is in God. But God says all I need you to do is have a desire for me. How many of you, tell the truth, how many of you really have a real desire for God? How many of you? How many of you have a real desire for God? Okay, it took y'all kind of a long time. You had to think about it, didn't you? How many of you would lay down your life for him? How many of you, if somebody came in here right now, how many of us would say, if they say denounce your religion, how many of you would do it, or would you hold on to your commitment? Hello, I don't hear nobody talking to me. Because see, now listen, why? Because now we understand as a result of coming here, come on somebody, as a result of sitting under the word down here, we understand that we have somewhere better for us. And not only do we have somewhere better, but God has created a situation for us that is eternal, never ending. You don't have to die no more. You don't have to cry no more. There's no more hatred there. There's no more dying, no more sickness, no more disease. Come on, somebody. We understand that through us coming here. But while we're still on this earth has all of the ills that go with it. This situation that we're in now has all of the misfortunes that go with it. But God says, my peace I leave with you. Did he not say that? He said, I leave you. He says, I leave you peace. In other words, not as the world gives. Jesus said, I give you joy. I leave you joy. I leave you peace. Not as the world gives it, but as I give it. What is that peace? The peace of knowing that if something happens to me on this earth, I got a home in heaven, that I'll never have to go through this again. Oh my God. But I also understand that as I know, the more I know about God, the more I fall in love with him. The more I love him, the more I desire. Paul says this right here. He says, to be absent from the body is to be what? Present with the Lord. He says, I would rather be with the Lord. Come on, somebody. He said, but it's needful for me to stay here. Why? Because I need to give you an understanding of what it is that God has brought to us. I need to give you an understanding of your whole existence. I need you to understand it, because when you understand it, then you no longer fear death. I don't fear death no more. Why? Because I know death only transitions me into the presence of God. Lord have mercy. Let me hurry up. So now, when I gain understanding, I receive power. So I stopped at successful. Listen to this, y'all. The carnal mind or the earthly mind cannot embrace the spiritual views of the all-knowing God. It cannot connect. Y'all know this, the truth. We want to do whatever it is that we want to do. And the reason why we want to do what it is that we want to do, because it feels good to us. And God says there are things that feel good to you that's not good that's good for you.
No good.
When we were smoking reefer, it felt good because we was high. But it was working something else. It was doing something else to our mind. It was burning brain cells. But it felt good while it was killing something else. Y'all know I'm telling the truth.
That's some good bud.
Yeah, it was some... I heard a guy say, listen. I heard a guy say one time as a comedian, he said, listen. He said, how in the world did you have a good time and you don't even know what happened? woke up and said, man, we had a good time. Man, you was asleep. You was blacked out. How you know what kind of time you had? Hey. This ain't that kind of party, sir. So,
Shut up.
the carnal mind, the earthly mind, our mind on this earth. Do y'all know something? Can I tell y'all something else? I'm almost done. Let me tell y'all something else. I love old school. I love old school music. And don't tell me about my Four Tops. Don't mess with my Temptations. Don't you mess with my Jackson 5. Come on, somebody. Don't you mess with the Delphonics. Come on. I can reminisce and be like, ooh, I remember when, Darlene. I remember when. But guess what I discovered? Guess what I discovered? No matter how much I reminisce, I can never go back.
Look back.
Listen, I can reminisce. Looking back is just like trying to go back. I say, man, I'm going to lose weight and come slim again like I was when I was 14 years old. It ain't happened yet. And I can't mess with a 14-year-old girl when I was 14 because I'd be in jail or under somebody's jail. Because why? Old things are passed away. Behold, all things have become new. So whatever you say, brother, what that got to do with understanding? I understand that I can't go back. So now I'm not looking to go back. I'm looking to go forward. Because listen, when I got to high school, I had high school memories. Oh yeah. There were certain songs that played in high school that remind Earth, Wind, and Fire. Come on. Imagination. Come on now. Keep your head to the sky was back in the Audubon days and devotion and all that. But then there was Be Ever Wonderful. Come on, somebody. And come on. With your mind. You know, I remember those songs, Sister Hall, and it takes me back to high school days. But guess what? I can't go back. I can't go back to reliving those high school days. I can't go back because guess what? When I was in 12th grade, I was ready to graduate. What is it about folk that graduate school but then come back up to the school and just want to hang around? Guess why? Because they didn't understand it was about the education that was empowering them. But it was the fellowship and the camaraderie that they was coming back after. It was the memories of being in school. But school was only a stepping stone. Education was only the basis of where you're going in life. And that's what young people don't understand right now. It's the basis of where I need to go in life. So we had a kid named Andrew Jackson. Andrew Jackson did all his work in school. We was around there throwing airplanes. We was doing spitballs. You know, we were just doing everything. But Andrew Jackson was getting his work. And Andrew Jackson is a millionaire right now. Andrew Jackson from 119th Street. Yeah. And he had a sister. I forget her first name. But his name was Andrew Jackson. He went to school with us. Andrew Jackson's a millionaire. In fact, Andrew Jackson's been on the news because he's a part of the people, the team that's building up and developing the neighborhoods in Cleveland. So they're starting on the west side and they're developing and they're financing the work. Come on, what did the Bible tell us? He said you will be the head and not the tail. What is wrong with us is that we didn't understand that we needed to get our education while we was there. But God said it's not too late. God said it's not too late. He says, I will restore unto you the years that you've lost. He says, I will give back to you what the cankerworms and what rust and moth has destroyed, the stuff that you lost. God says, I can restore it back to you. But I can't restore it back to you, darling, unless you understand how to handle it. Come on, somebody. Whew, I hear God talking right now. So, watch this. So I follow wisdom. I get wisdom and I follow it. But when I understand it, I walk with joy in doing wisdom. Oh no, I ain't got to do that. See, when somebody step to you now with needles of drugs in it, you say, man, I don't need that. You can look with confidence because you understand what it does. Come on, somebody. You understand that what people are trying to offer you as fun is destroying you. So, bro, why would I? See, that's one thing I'm going to tell you about the Muslims. Tell you about the Muslims and what they teach. They teach that you don't defile your temple with all this junk because it's out here on the market.
Right.
They understand that. So this is something that we must also understand. Now I'm saying you can pray over your food. Don't get me wrong. But when you understand that there's certain things that you just don't need to eat, then you start, wisdom says, don't eat it because you understand it's destroying you. Lord have mercy. I done gained some weight since I had lost weight. I gained it back.